Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest edition of Dale Center NASCAR Betting. Welcome back for the Goodyear 400 weekend at Darlington Raceway. This track behind me is a tire cheese grater. And I think for the Cup Series Goodyear 400 on Sunday afternoon, that might be a hot topic for trucks, for O'Reilly. It is a triple header weekend. We get trucks on Friday, O'Reilly on Saturday. I think there's more potential to see some straight up races, but it's been a big time topic amongst all the drivers and the industry of what the race on Sunday is going to look like, and all signs point to some maybe potential chaos, but certainly that the race will look different. And as Tyler Reddick said in an interview in a presser last weekend, it's going to take something different to win this race versus what it's taken in the prior 4 years of Gen 7 NASCAR racing. So we're going to get that out of the way real quick, and we'll bring it up some more, but I want to be clear on something. Practice and qualifying are going to be more indicative than ever, maybe, in the NASCAR Cup Series in terms of who's going to be fast, who's going to survive, and there's still going to be uncertainties after practice, after qualifying, heading into Sunday. We've seen the chaos at Phoenix last 2 times out, last fall and this spring, with tire grenades. There's potential for that to be on another level, but what some drivers have made it sound like is that the cars are going to be out of control. So it may not be a tire or a tire grenade roulette type of race, but more so cars just completely on edge, a lot of spins, a lot of wrecks. That's what Brad Keselowski thinks, and I'll be on Brad this weekend in terms of bets. I'm trying to place the good energy there. And if you were here last week, we had one top 10 bet hit pre-practice, pre-qualifying here in Dale Center, and that was a Brad Keselowski top 10 that he got on the white flag. It's crazy sweating those out, isn't it? But shout out Brad Keselowski. I'm big on him. I'm big on RFK. We'll talk more about those guys as we unveil our top 10 plays. But when we talk about Darlington in all 3 NASCAR National Series, typically it's a straight up race after practice and qualifying. You know, typically the chalk is what's going to hit. Now, I will say for trucks, last time we were here at night for the Craftsman Truck Series was in 2024, and that race was complete madness. Come back in 2025, different time. It was kind of weird. They came back last fall in the playoffs, and it was in the daytime, so the conditions were much different. It wasn't the most exciting race ever. You had a lot of tire problems, which is not unusual for Darlington, but the main guys led most of the laps, and Corey Heim won the race of trucks. O'Reilly, typically pretty chalky after practice and qualifying. The guys that are fast on the long run in practice typically are fast in the race. Even though, with that being said, the last 2 times here at Darlington, the fastest guy did not win. Fall of 2024, if you go back and watch that race, Sheldon Creed, he may not have been the best the entire day. This is when Creed was with Joe Gibbs Racing, who's driving that number 18 Toyota. He flew past Christopher Bell and was pulling away. Late race caution comes out, everybody pits. Christopher Bell beats him off of pit road. Bell goes on to win. Then you go to 2025, last year. I think in the later stages, Ross Chastain had the best car. Caution comes out late, same thing. Pit strategy or bad pit stop by that team. Brandon Jones takes advantage. He gets a great restart. He pulls away and he wins it. So I say that the chalk is typically what is king here. But the last few times out, at least in O'Reilly and in trucks, the chalk has not won. Now you could say Christopher Bell was the chalk in fall of 2024 and he won. For that race, he was probably even money outright, and he led a lot of laps. So I guess the chalk did win there, but in terms of the faster car, the car that deserved to win, I don't think it's happened the last 2 times out here. I don't even think it happened last fall in trucks. Layne Riggs was leading that race, had gotten better than Corey Heim as the race went on. He blew a tire with a few laps remaining, and then Corey Heim wins. And I already mentioned 2024, which was won by Ross Chastain in a niche truck. They definitely did not have the best truck that night. So I say the chalk is typically king. Last few times out has not been the case. You could say it's been the case for Cup, though. At least last fall, Chase Briscoe dominated. Ryan Blaney had the best car here in the spring. He did not win. But Cup, you almost want to throw everything out the window in terms of the favorites, right? You know, I think since I'm not going to talk a lot about Cup because of the crazy uncertainty with the high horsepower on the same Goodyear tires last year, no rear diffuser, with all the uncertainties around the changes with this car, I don't want to bet any outrights that are 10 to 1 or lower, basically. Essentially favorites. I don't want anything high risk. I want nothing high risk. And obviously a lot of this program is about what I feel is obtaining low risk bets heading into the weekend. Now last week we didn't do that because Kyle Larson, William Byron were my top plays. They're typically the best guys at Vegas. They kind of fell off late. Byron actually got better as the race went on. Basically, neither one of them won, but they were chalkier bets than what I would normally do, especially when we have who knows, just a lot of unknowns heading into Sunday for the Goodyear 400. So appreciate you listening to me ramble for about 6.5 minutes. And thanks again to everybody for the support. Whether we've had good bets in this program or bad bets in this program, the viewership continues to be fantastic. So thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. I've been doing this for a long time. Back in the Garage Guys days, and then now what I have here on this channel, it's been basically 6 years of cap and NASCAR. So thank you guys, because it's the most traction my YouTube channel has ever had here for the NASCAR betting information, analysis, and degenerate video content. And we're gonna have parlays at the end of the episode, so the degenerate stuff, it works. And we hit a parlay last weekend. If you subscribe to dubclub.win or just follow me on Twitter, you saw the parlay I gave out, which was a Kyle Kirkwood top 3, a William Byron top 3, a Denny Hamlin, maybe it was a Byron top 5 and a Hamlin top 3, and a Chase Briscoe top 10. The odds were like 17.5 to 1 smack, and it helped us have a big Sunday. We didn't have a great Saturday, but we had a great Sunday. Oh, and forewarning here, if you are a Dub Club subscriber, a member of the Dale Club, I will not be betting on qualifying this weekend. You're welcome. I think I've gotten my fix in qualifying after hitting Joey Logano a couple weeks ago. Qualifying based on see those clouds in the sky behind me? A lot of times qualifying is based on how many of those are up there, how blue the sky is. You want to cap qualifying perfectly for a calendar season, you need to be a fucking meteorologist. So that's where I'm going to leave it at. There will be times where we bet on qualifying, but this weekend will not be one of those times. So without further ado, let's dive right into our top 10 plays. Heading into the Darlington weekend, we get Truck Night in America on Friday, O'Reilly on Saturday afternoon, and Cup on Sunday. Actually, we're not going to dive in because I got to tell you one more thing, and this is arguably the most important piece of information you get this entire weekend. It's not Cup related, but in terms of trucks and O'Reilly, and especially trucks, we have a very narrow gap between practice and qualifying and the green flag. As you have seen, if you've been interested in betting on O'Reilly the past couple weeks, the books have been complete dog shit on reloading odds on a timely basis for you to bet. Last week, they reloaded O'Reilly with 8 minutes before the green flag. That was DraftKings. DraftKings reloaded O'Reilly lines 8 minutes before the green flag. So, especially with trucks this weekend, because qualifying is going to be over like an hour and a half before green flag. Don't expect to see lines again until the race is live. So essentially, don't even expect to be able to bet anything top 3 or top 5 unless you're refreshing constantly and it loads with 10 minutes remaining. You know, Bet Rivers typically is better about reloading props before green flag, and that'll include matchups and top 3s typically for the truck series. DraftKings has been fucking horrendous. They're an embarrassment. And we're in the middle of March Madness. So NASCAR neglect is going to be at a high level on Friday and Saturday. Saturday, same situation with O'Reilly. There is a bigger window between the end of qualifying and green flag on Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, but do not expect to get lines based on, or at least variants of lines based on how they've been treated the past few weeks. So just a heads up. You know, if I think get most of your bets in pre-practice, pre-qualifying for trucks, O'Reilly, maybe try to find value on what you think is value for top threes and top fives, and we'll go over that, what I think is value. And then maybe you get your outrights before a green flag, and you hope and pray that they'll load up everything between DraftKings, Caesars, your Canby books, Hard Rock. Hard Rock has good lines this week for the first time, basically since the drafting tracks. So hope and pray that everybody gets lines up, gives you options before the green flag. So now we can dive into our top 10, and let's see where we're going to start. Ooh, Sheldon Creed. Man, Sheldon Creed has had a great year, and he has not made the program yet in terms of a top 10 play. Top 3 plus 350. I've already missed out on 4-1, and I've missed out on 20-1 outright. It was available on BetMGM. That all markets are getting pretty constrained, if that is a word, on Creed's outright. He's now at 16-1 most places. This is Sheldon Creed's favorite track. He's been on the record for saying that, and he's been awesome here. He should have won here, as I mentioned earlier, fall of 2024. Let's pause that. There we go. He should have won here fall of 2024 with Joe Gibbs Racing. I love the start to the season that Sheldon Creed has had. Clearly, the switch back to Chevy has benefited this team. I know Sam Mayer has not gotten the results. Sam Mayer has been fast too. This has not been the best Sam Mayer track. It has been a great Sheldon Creed track, and it's been a great Sheldon Creed year. He's running well at all track types, and now he comes to his favorite track and some of Creed's best moments where he's been, so close to winning, have been when Cup guys were in the O'Reilly race. And we've got Cup guys in this O'Reilly race with Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, the main three that are going to probably battle for the win. I would not be surprised if Sheldon Creed won this race. I definitely would not be surprised if he finished top 3. The best top 5 line I saw on him was plus 180. Seems a little risky. I like the top 3 line. I really liked 4-1, but you snooze, you lose. And even I do that sometimes. So the top 3 plus 350 is worth a bet pre-practice, pre-qualifying. He goes out late in qualifying. I said it a few weeks ago. I think the most consistent qualifiers in 2026 in O'Reilly are going to be the Haas factory team cars. And I expect with his qualifying draw going out late, Sheldon Creed will qualify up in the top 5. Worst case scenario, top 10. But he is a contender to win the pole and maybe get some CLV before the green flag. So love Sheldon Creed. Good place to start. I think Sheldon Creed, out of all the O'Reilly guys, with some of these Cup guys that are hopping down, cherry picking, if you will, I think Sheldon Creed is going to be a factor and a threat to win on Saturday. Let's see who we have next. Carson Kvapil. Man, this is... All right, let's go ahead and talk about last week. I don't know what happened in the later part of that final green flag run, but Carson Kvapil fell off a fucking cliff. Now, he was in the 9 car. It's a different crew chief, different team. We've kind of mentioned how it's a little fucked up what's going on at JRM with different guys, drivers like him and Raja Karuth switching rides non-stop, it seems. It's a bizarre deal. But in this 1 car with Rodney Childers, they should have won Phoenix. They, no question, should have won Phoenix. And Carson Kvapil, with a full year under his belt where he grinded his way to the championship I think has shown that he's got supreme talent. And the books are going to continue sleeping on him until he goes to victory lane. I'm not saying he's going to be the Connor Zilic 2025, but Carson Kvapil is a threat to win the championship. The more he is in this 1 car, the more often you're going to see him run up front. I think he's proven very early in his young O'Reilly Series career that he's going to be a winner. And it could happen this weekend. So 30-1 is what you're going to keep seeing on him until it finally happens. The 4-1 top 5 is a fantastic line. I believe that's over on Hard Rock. 8-1 top 3, I think, is on Hard Rock as well. I'll double check that. I haven't bet these yet. By the time you see this, I will have bet them. But Carson Kvapil, man, it's a winning team with a winning crew chief, and I think a winning driver soon in 2026. I'm not going to miss out when it happens, especially at a high wear track like this. I don't know what happened at the end of Vegas because he was getting better and better and better. Thought he was going to get a top 5. Fucking fell apart at the end after he got aero blocked by Corey Day, the prodigy, hashtag the prodigy, for 20 laps. And I think he just burned the right front up. But I feel like this is more of a track in his wheelhouse. He ran top 5 here last year, so he's gotten a good Darlington race under his belt with a great finish. And now he's a better driver than he was last year on a better team. I love Carson Kvapil this weekend. I know it feels like I'm betting on him every week, but the signs are there, guys. Driver number 1, which is what I know he was in number 9 and number 91. To me, he's driver number 1. Driver number 1 is knocking on the door. Do not be surprised if he has another fantastic run this weekend at Darlington. Moving on. Ooh, Layne Riggs. All right. Should probably let you know here, I got a profit boost or an odds boost on BetMGM. It's a 25% boost. Maybe you guys got it too. It's for any sport. I think I'm going to use it on Layne Riggs to get plus 625 instead of 5-1. So if you see on my betting card plus 6, I'm going to make it clear on the betting card whenever I post these. BetMGM still has the best line at 5-1. I'd bet him down to plus 450 if you had to. He proved at St. Pete he's going to be the top dog this year. I mean, that he sent a big time message. You know, my concept of betting on him at St. Pete before practice, before qualifying, was I want truckers and the best rides, because all the focus is on the Dario Franchittis and the James Hinchcliffes and all these road ringers that have never driven a truck before. Everybody wants to bet on those guys. I want to bet on the guys that are experienced and are fast. And Layne Riggs might be in the championship truck this year. And now we come to a track type that he was awesome at in 2025. And make sure when you look at the box score, this is why you got to watch races on YouTube. You're going to go back and you're going to look at the box score and see he finished last at Kansas. And you're going to be like, oh, well, he actually finished second to Hocevar and got disqualified. So a few points here with that. 1, medium to high wear intermediates, even short tracks. Layne Riggs is fantastic. Layne Riggs is a long run machine at these mid to higher wear racetracks on the schedule. As I mentioned earlier, he probably should have won this race last fall if not for cutting a tire down in the waning laps. And then 2, I mentioned he got DQ'd. If you can help it, please make sure you bet his outright on a sports book that does not acknowledge post-race inspection, or a book that does not penalize your bets if your driver fails post-race inspection, aka FanDuel, BetMGM, DraftKings. DraftKings is crazy because they reward both. If you have the winner and you have the driver that finishes second in your outright bets, first place fails inspection, you're going to win 2 outright bets. It's happened before. It's not often, but FRM, Front Row Motorsports, their trucks fail inspection at least one time a year. And they fail pre-race inspection all the fucking time. You will watch a broadcast at some point and see Layne Riggs or Chandler Smith has lost pit crew selection, car chief ejected, whatever, pass-through penalty on lap 1. Their trucks are so illegal. It's amazing. They're so fast, but I think Layne Riggs has proven himself to be the top dog in 2026. All the stars align, even with Cup guys in this field. It does not make me nervous betting on Layne Riggs because he's proven in the past he can run against Cup guys. He probably should have won at Homestead last year, another high-wear racetrack, and he fell apart with like 3 laps to go, and Kyle Larson won it. So this track type, at least in terms of wear, has been really good for Layne Riggs and this number 34 team. And now he's got one more year of experience under his belt. And one thing we didn't really cover, trucks have been at some bizarre fucking racetracks to start the year out. And now I know Daytona and Atlanta aren't bizarre, but they're not like the real indicators of who's the top dog. Then we go to St. Pete, a street course, and Layne Riggs goes out and just fucking mows the field down. He sent a big message. And now we come to a track where he's been good at, a track type where he's been good at. Layne Riggs, if you're going to bet any outright, you know, there's going to be focus on Christopher Bell, who's in Stuart Friesen's second truck. Chastain's back again in the 45. You always want to bet on Hocevar. He's around 8-1. He's in a fast Spire truck, which has had a pretty good start to the year. I think if there's any outright you need to target, it's Layne Riggs. The guy is a tremendous talent, and he might have one of those seasons where he wins 5, 6, 7 times. So I really like Layne Riggs. I'd bet it down to 4.5-1 if you had to. And yeah, I'm trying to find this. Hold on. Hang on. Where is... There he is. Okay. So Layne Riggs is my favorite outright play for the Craftsman Truck Series on Friday night. Truck night in America, baby. What we got next? Gio Ruggiero. When in doubt, Gio. I just don't understand why he continues to be undervalued like this. By the way, the top 5 and the top 3 are on Hard Rock. The outright 60-1 is available at Canby. For me, that's Bally. For you, it could be Bet Rivers. But Gio Ruggiero, man. You know, I wrote on here the next Corey Heim. You know, Layne Riggs is probably in position to be the Corey Heim this year, right? But in terms of the head guy at Tricon Garage, which is bringing ridiculously good race trucks to the racetrack every single week, Gio could be the guy. You know, he's going to win a race this season, at least one on a non-drafting track. It's going to happen. We already know how good he is at the drafters. Can't believe he didn't win at least one of those races at Daytona or Atlanta. But he finished second and third. Gio's going to be a threat. I think this dude is really talented. I think he's going to be a front runner for the championship when we get to the chase. And the books are just pretending like he's a 13th place guy. 60-1 outright. And we got Cup guys in the field. Layne Riggs is going to be fast. I understand. Corey Heim's in the field. Speaking of Tricon, I even mentioned Corey Heim. Corey Heim is the outright favorite. He's in the field. But I'm just shocked the books are pretending like he's not a borderline top 5 guy all the time. He was running top 5 here last fall at Darlington when he cut a tire down around the time that Layne Riggs cut one down. So he's already proven he's got pace at this particular racetrack. I think Gio is going to take a big step forward on these intermediate style racetracks, short tracks, all of it. He's already been good. He's already been good enough to warrant taking a shot at these low risk bets. I'm all in. Again, when in doubt, Gio. Pretty simple. And sometimes you just have to simplify. Sometimes you watch enough, you see the guys that are consistently good week in and week out, regardless if there's Cup guys, O'Reilly guys, whatever. Gio Ruggiero is one of those guys, and I think he's going to be a factor come Friday night for Truck Night in America. Next up, this is going to be my biggest bet of the year. Ross Chastain is in that 9 car this weekend for the O'Reilly series. Hey, remember, Ross Chastain, tell me, he does not drive the 9 car in the Cup series. It's almost impossible to get confused here. This is for the O'Reilly series, which is racing on Saturday. It's like the Sports Clips Haircut 200 or whatever, some shit like that. With all due respect, Ross Chastain was fantastic in this ride in 2025 in limited opportunities. Led a ton of laps at Iowa. As I mentioned earlier, thought he had the best car late in this race 1 year ago. One caution, fucked the whole thing up. They had a bad pit stop. I love Ross. Can we get him back on the screen? What are we doing? I love Ross Chastain. This top 5 bet that plus 175 via Hard Rock is going to be a major max bet. It's going to be my biggest bet of the year. And it's probably going to dictate my profitability on Saturday afternoon. You see the stats on the screen: 4th, 5th, and 3rd at ovals in this number 9 car in 2025 that were incident free. He had a gear problem at Dover, finished like 38th. All the other ovals that he ran at in this number 9 car, top 5. And Darlington is one of his best tracks. He's been fantastic here in Cup, O'Reilly, and Trucks. It's a great track for him. It's honestly amazing he's only won here one time. The amount of times he's been in contention, whether it was Cup that one year, actually twice, Chastain's been in contention for the win in Cup at Darlington. O'Reilly, he was great here when he was with Colleague. He had the famous accident beef with Kevin Harvick back, it feels like an eternity ago, but at that point he was racing with Chip Ganassi in the 42 car, led a bunch of laps. I mean, he's due to win here in something outside of a truck. Ross Chastain loves Darlington. I think he's going to be a big factor to win. That 8-1 line is via Canby. For me, that will be Bally. I think they are must bets before we hit the racetrack for practice and qualifying. So I'm all in on Ross Chastain in that number 9 car for O'Reilly on Saturday. Up next, who we got? Here we go. Brad K. If there's anything I'm going to bet before practice and qualifying, as I mentioned already, I don't want any favorites. I'm not paying anything 10-1 or lower. The RFK guys all fit that mold perfectly. They're all 30-1 or higher at a track where they have been very good at in the Gen 7 era, particularly Brad and Chris Buescher. When Keselowski broke his winning streak here in 2024, there's still some doubts with that program. Chris Buescher had a great year. They kind of, Buescher has not won in a minute. Keselowski's been knocking on the door of winning at these damn drafting tracks. But if there's a non-drafting track that he's going to win at, first of all, if there's a non-drafting track type he's going to win at, it's going to be an intermediate, a high-wear intermediate. And Darlington fits that mold. He didn't have great performances here last year, made some mistakes in the spring race, which is all he did last year was fucking make mistakes. But with the tire uncertainties, with the high horsepower change, I think it's right in Brad Keselowski's wheelhouse. I'm going to treat it as an equalizer to the Hendrick guys, the Gibbs guys. I think with all the uncertainties around this race, a big benefactor, and I know they've got this circled on the calendar, RFK Racing fits the mold to play upset on Sunday. And I wouldn't even view it as big of an upset as the books are treating it. So I love Brad Keselowski. He's a tire management king. Probably should have won that Bristol race last fall. The Bristol night race, crazy tire problems, right in Brad's wheelhouse. And was dictated by a late race restart. Christopher Bell won. So love Brad Keselowski. Love RFK. Kind of like last week. We hit the top 10 bet at 3.5-1, whatever it was, plus 320. All the RFK guys, very low risk. And for a race like this on Sunday where no one knows what the hell's going to happen, I want low risk until I see cars hit that racetrack. So that's what I like for Brad Keselowski. Moving on, we're going back to trucks. This is Chandler Smith, top 5 plus 325, top 3 plus 500, 5-1, and then outright at 20-1. I really like the number here. Like Layne Riggs, teammate of Front Row Motorsports, fast truck. Chandler Smith has a lot of experience. He has a lot of pace. He's a great qualifier. I think there's a potential opportunity to get some good CLV here heading into Friday night's race. But I like the top 5 line. The Cup guys don't scare me here for Chandler Smith. And you go back to last fall at Darlington. He started up front. He was leading that race. And he brushed the wall and cut down a tire. And it fucked up his entire day. So Chandler Smith has proven here in the past that he's had speed. They had a lot of mistakes last year at tracks where They came out guns blazing, really, really fast. Let's cut down the mistakes. Let's make sure we're decent on pit road. And Chandler Smith, I think, could be in the argument or in the conversation to win this race. Very least run top 5. Again, these trucks are so fucking illegal. Hold on, was that the right? Put them back on the screen. There we go. These FRM trucks are so fast, man. I really like the numbers here. 20-1 outright's crazy for me on a guy that has so much NASCAR experience in a very fast race truck. He's already got a win this year. This isn't his best track, you know, if you look at his results. But again, I like the number. I like the experience. I like the talent. Chandler Smith being slept on heavily in a potential winning truck here before we even hit the racetrack for practice or for qualifying. So, like Layne Riggs, really like Chandler Smith, but I like the value on his positional props. Next up, sticking with trucks, Ben Rhodes, first time making the top 10. Love Ben Rhodes, man. I think this could be a big rebound year for Ben Rhodes. Is the old Ben Rhodes back? They had winning speed at St. Pete. Obviously, St. Pete has no fucking correlation to this, but we haven't seen Ben Rhodes have winning speed at a non-drafting track, and I don't know how long. His winning streak is like, I don't know how many races. They talked about it at St. Pete a few weeks ago, but he hasn't won in forever. And we don't even need him to win. We'd love him to win. Looking at 30-1 at a track that he has won at before. He has 3 top 3s in 6 starts. Ben Rhodes is good here. Very good here. And I feel like that race at St. Pete, man, I feel like that bleeds confidence heading into this race weekend. At a track that he's good at, finished 3rd here in 2024. Wasn't great here last fall, but we've seen ThorSport have some problems and some consistency in terms of pace outside of that 98 team of Ty Majeski. Or now Ty Majeski's in the 88, excuse me. But I think Ben Rhodes is a good play here. 8-1 top 3, plus 450 top 5, and then that 30-1 outright. Again, low risk. And you got, for me, I'm just kind of hoping that ThorSport at some of these intermediate style racetracks sees some improvement on long run pace, like Ty Majeski, who typically has a good long run truck. Seems like they don't share information amongst their teams. I know they've got some pay drivers in and out, but Ben Rhodes is talented. He's good here. He's worth taking a shot at pre-practice, pre-qualifying. He's a former winner at Darlington. He's going to win in 2026, I think. I think he's going to break that winning streak at some point. I don't know where it's going to be at, but I'm going to take a shot at Ben Rhodes for Friday night. If we get some chaos like we had here the last time we raced at night, I love Ben Rhodes in chaotic races. I feel like chaos, that number 99 thrives in. So give me Ben Rhodes. I love the board for trucks, and it may not start with Ben Rhodes, but it could end with Ben Rhodes on Friday night. Moving on, Ryan Blaney. I already mentioned I don't want to bet any outrights for Cup on Sunday under 10-1. Well, Ryan Blaney's 10-1. And this race last year, he had the fastest fucking Darlington car I've ever seen in my life. The way that car ripped the bottom on old tires and made speed, I've never seen anything like it. He should have won, but late race caution comes out, flips the race when everybody pits. They had all sorts of problems on pit road, like they always do. And they did not find victory lane. But I'm just going to keep it simple here. Fastest car I've ever seen at Darlington last year. Blaney's been pretty good and improving. We already know he's good everywhere on the long run. Even with the uncertainties, with the tire, horsepower, I think Blaney, you could still see that 12 car be amazing on the long run. We'll keep it simple. Ryan Blaney is the only co-favorite that I'm willing to bet, and it's because of the price and based on what we saw last year. And I guess if you wanted to add a little bit of confidence, we did have the tire horsepower combo at the Clash. Felt like Ryan, before the rain came, felt like Ryan Blaney was the best car. He was passing everybody before the rains came. And then they put on rain tires, the clash at Bowman Gray. And then, of course, Blaney had a rocket at Phoenix in the long run. So you could say already, with similar circumstances, that 12 car has been really, really fast. So let's keep it simple and hope that happens again on Sunday. And go ahead and take Ryan Blaney at 10-1. Next up, Chris Buescher. We're sticking with the RFK camp. And I wanted to put an honorable mention on here. We'll go ahead and do it. Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, and Ryan Preece, all worth bets pre-practice, pre-qualifying. I like Ryan Preece's prices as well. Again, the entire RFK camp is extremely low risk. And I can understand Brad because he hasn't, 2025 was a tough year. He's still injured. Ryan Preece has never won a cup race, even though he won the Clash. I do not understand why Chris Buescher is priced where he is. He could be a threat to win under any circumstance at Darlington. I know he hasn't won in a minute, but Chris Buescher is awesome at this racetrack. Look at the box score. Look at the film. Buescher probably should have won here spring of 2024 when Keselowski won. Buescher had a great run last week at Vegas, being the top finishing Ford. I like where this team is at. I like where Chris is at, heading to a racetrack where he has been excellent at in the Gen 7 era. Love me some Chris Buescher, as I love all of RFK racing. And once again, I can't stress enough, low risk. And Chris Buescher's the best bargain of all three for outright, top Ford, and top 5. Love Chris Buescher. I just realized I forgot. Bear with me here. I forgot to post my top 10. Let me know what you guys like in the comments and what you guys think. By the way, I do have to say, even though I was beefing with somebody a couple weeks ago, no big deal. The comments have been awesome, man. I really appreciate everybody chiming in. Everybody who's been chiming in on what they like, what they think about the videos. I genuinely love the conversation that's happening in the comments of these videos, along with just the amount of attention they've gotten. As I said early in the program, I just appreciate all the viewership. So that's your top 10. Let me know what you think in the comments, who you like, because it's a wild, at least for Sunday. It can always be a wild card for Chucks and O'Reilly, but it is a true wild card race for Sunday. I don't think anybody knows what's actually going to happen. One guy I didn't talk about, Eric Jones. Who's going to be betting on Eric Jones? His top Toyota price, sitting at 30-1, was very fast here last year. I mean, was a winning threat, if not for dirty air, late in the race in the Southern 500. Eric Jones is fantastic here. Legacy, maybe this is an equalizer for Eric Jones, who doesn't really need that for Darlington, but maybe his teammate John Hunter Nemechek, who's been really good here, and O'Reilly. He's obviously going to be 100-1, 150-1 on every book. And I'll go ahead and tell you one gut play. I don't know why. Sometimes you got to go with your gut. There's no analytics except for the time he randomly popped up and finished second to Harvick here in the Southern 500 like 6 years ago. I want to bet on Austin Dillon. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling. Do you feel like they've had a little bit more speed than expected? I think back to Phoenix when they got better and better as the race went on. We're kind of hovering around that top 10. I think it's a little too expensive to bet for a top 10 because I've seen like 7-1, 8-1 best price. So I'm hoping Austin Dillon qualifies bad. And I'm telling you, you in betting and in sports betting, you regret going against your gut. I think it's just so fucking random because I have no analytics. I got nothing that says it's a good bet. But something about my gut says I should play Austin Dillon in some capacity. Let me know what you think about that. But I'm going to wait till post qualifying before I bet that, because I know they qualified well at Vegas last week. Typically not the best qualifier overall. So that's a gut play that I have. But to recap your top 10 plays, you're looking at them right here. We're looking at Ross Chastain. Well, I thought we were looking at them. There they are. They're a little fucked up. Hang on a second. I'll fix that for you guys. There's your Dale Center top 10 plays in order. We talked about them all. Keselowski, Buescher, Blaney, all the cut bets at the very bottom of the top 10 because of all the uncertainties that we have talked about. Ben Rhodes, Carson Kvapil, Gio Ruggiero, Layne Riggs, Sheldon Creed, Chandler Smith, and the number one play, biggest bet of the year incoming, Ross Chastain, top 5 in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on Saturday. Be sure to subscribe to dubclub.win if you want to see all the NASCAR betting cards for 2026. Post-practice, post-qualifying, always important. You can see all the betting cards on dubclub.win. That link is in the bio. New graphic. I can show you that we have netted 39.9 units in 2026. Now, time for our parlay segment, the Gin Dale. I don't even know how the parlays did last week. But I went ahead and created something that I really, really like. And again, if I do bet these, I'll tell you. Like I did last week on Twitter, and we hit a parlay. I'm not a big parlay guy in terms of me putting my own money on them. But every now and then, you know, last week's not good because I'm not a parlay guy and it made me pretty confident. So I might bet one this week and I'll probably lose. And you can lose with me. So let's lose together. You know what? I don't like that vibe. Just kidding. We're probably going to win $1 million. Let's fucking switch the vibe on that. Maybe we win $1 million. As we look here at DraftKings Sportsbook, this is insane. I crafted an 11-leg parlay, ladies and gentlemen. And a guy I didn't talk about. He's got a great throwback paint scheme this weekend for the Truck Series. Throwing back to Johnny Benson. Caden Honeycutt. I'm big on Caden Honeycutt this year. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to go to victory lane. I just think his pricing is too expensive. I know he opened at BetMGM, I think at 14 to 1 or 16 to 1. Long gone at top 5 even money. If I'm not going to bet on it straight up, I was thinking, you know what? If we did make a parlay, he's in arguably the best truck. He's been to Darlington a few times and run okay, not great, in Friesen equipment or Nice equipment, or Young's Motorsports equipment. Let's just put the top 5 in there. That is where we will start with a Honeycutt top 5 in trucks. We'll go with the Layne Riggs top 3 at plus money. You already know how I feel about Layne Riggs. Then we'll go to O'Reilly. We're going to do a Chastain top 5. Patented lock of the universe bet. My biggest bet of the year by far. Incoming. DraftKings is a shittier line, but it's okay. We're putting it in a parlay. I mentioned the top 5 line on Sheldon Creed earlier. Plus 180. A little too expensive, I think, for a straight bet. But I do like it for a parlay. Top 3. I debated putting Larson top 3 in it, but I just want to vomit when I see a price like that. This is where it gets crazy. The NASCAR Cup Series. Look at all the top 10s I put on here. Austin Dillon top 10 plus 650. Shane Van Gisbergen top 10. I never bet on SVG, but tire management. Shane likes his track, and with it being a potential tire management race, maybe it's kind of in his wheelhouse. Sneaky play. Obviously way too expensive for a straight bet, but for a parlay, sure. Ryan Preece, big on RFK. He's always around 3 to 1 for a top 10 everywhere we go. I'll throw that in there. Eric Jones plus 260. Would not bet that as a straight bet, but he's really good at Darlington, so we'll throw that in there. Brad Keselowski, already talked about him, plus 190 for a top 10. Chris Buescher plus 135 for a top 10. All the RFK guys, and then Ryan Blaney for a top 5, who we talked about as well. This is an 11-leg Goliath for a round robin. This is not for a straight parlay, but if you did do a round robin, DraftKings, if you bet on your phone, you could do 10 cents per parlay. Can I move my... Here we go. So it's an 11 legger. I'd play like $2 in the twos, a quarter here, quarter there, 10 cents, 10 cents. I'd probably break that down a little more. I'd probably do $1. But you could do 10 cents on all of this. Probably bet a couple $100, maybe. And who knows? Maybe you hit 8. If you hit 8 of these, big payout. Hit 7 of them, big payout. 6 of them, probably a good payout. You probably need to hit 4 or 5 to either push or secure profit. But it is a DeGen Dale round robin parlay. So again, if you have DraftKings on your phone, I can't do it in person. I'd have to go to Louisiana to be able to use my phone. The retail locations, they'll only let you put a minimum of $5 per parlay, which is so fucking dumb. But you can do 10 cents per round robin here. So that way you can make it low risk. And if you hit 8 to 10 of them, high payout. So to recap, the DeGen, as DeGen as it gets. Chastain top 5 in O'Reilly, Riggs top 3 in trucks, Honeycutt top 5 in trucks, Dillon top 10 in Cup, SVG top 10 in Cup, all 3 RFK drivers top 10 in Cup, Ryan Blaney top 5 in Cup, Sheldon Creed top 5 in O'Reilly, and Eric Jones top 10 in Cup. What is this? 2 million to 1? 22, oh man, no, 22,000 to 1, is that? I don't know. It's fucking astronomical. It's not legitimate financial advice. It is for fun. Really proud of that cutscene. That's kind of for my iRacing stuff, but maybe you enjoy it too. It's 2026, but I'm living like it's 2006. That's where you're getting kind of my total team control graphics. If you're a fan of the old EA Sports NASCAR games, that's kind of the vibe I like to incorporate year by year. I kind of switch it up to match the EA Sports NASCAR game that kind of corresponds to that last number on the year. So 05, I had a bunch of 05 stuff. 06, I had a bunch, or 2025, I had a bunch of 05 stuff. 2026, I got a bunch of 06 stuff. Next year, 2027, if we survive World War III, I'll have a bunch of 07 stuff. Shout out Breaking Benjamin, Diary of Jane, Elliott Sadler on the cover of that. So hope you enjoyed the graphics. Hope you enjoyed the program. If it helped you win some money, please like, share, subscribe. Again, thank you guys so much for the support. It's been awesome to see the channel finally grow a little bit. Means the world, means a lot. Hopefully we'll have another big weekend. We've had a great start to the 2026 campaign, going back to the Clash, including the dual races. Betting cards for races have profited 10 of 15 times. I think qualifying were 1 for 3 or 1 for 4. But 10 of 15 race cards in 2026 have been profitable, and if not for 2 apocalyptic ones at the Daytona 500 and Circuit of the Americas, we'd be having a ridiculously good start to the season. We're at a good start to the year. We're basically 40 units in the green, all things considered. So thank you guys for the support. Still a long year ahead. Enjoy March Madness. I think Arkansas is going to win it all. That's all I got. Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. So be sure to join the Discord. That link is in the YouTube description as well. If you want to join the Discord, we have all sorts of chatter. We come up with ideas. A lot of the guys come up with plays. A lot of the guys are able to be extremely helpful just in various topics, especially if you're new to NASCAR betting. The community has grown so much, and the community is so active. And it's not like annoying active. Like, it's actually like super helpful, super informative, and I really appreciate everybody who's in the Discord, which is free, by the way. So thanks to everybody in the Dale Center NASCAR Discord for being so helpful and informative and fun as well. So vibes are strong right now, performance is strong right now, and that 11 leg round robin parlay is going to be strong by the time we hit Sunday evening in our fucking dreams. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy the weekend. I'm doing watch parties for Truck Night in America on Friday and the Cup race on Sunday. That's on kick.com/DaleTanhart. That link is also in the YouTube description if you want to come join us while we sweat our bets for those respective races. And then just follow everything at Dale Tanhart for all our other fun, degenerate NASCAR content. For the final time, thank you again, guys. Gonna be a fun weekend, triple header time, and hope we fuck that up. I'm just staring at this parlay. Wondering what I could do differently. But I got to go with my first gut, which is what you saw. I'd already had it made. Before we got on here. So thanks again, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon.